everybody.
It's good to see you again.
I know that. It's not like we see each other a lot or anything like that.
We're here at the global headquarters of the original Father-Son voiceover podcast and getting ready for episode
29.
Yeah, episode 29. And, last week we had Jeri and Jett on. Mm-hmm. This is part 2. And as I said in the commercial, they make an announcement on our podcast today, sharing it with the public for the first time.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get in any trouble from their relatives.
No. You're going to let it out of the bag. Let the cat out of the bag. And then
you guys are going on a trip.
Yeah, we're going on a trip. Drew is down. No, that's fine. Drew is on a trip for the bonds department of West Bend, for which he works. And he's been down there for the last week or so. And Becky, Todd, and Jonathan.
Third person.
Wow. I've been trying to do that. Becky, Todd, and Jonathan are flying down. We're going to fly into Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, drive about an hour to Wilmington, and stay with Drew for a few days down there to kind of break up his trip. He's going to be down there 2 weeks and going to show some videos. We're going to try to take some videos from down there. And then you and Joe, maybe Demond.
Hopefully Demond
will be here. But
lounging,
you'll be calling us and we'll be giving some updates, hopefully, and some pictures and things like that.
Little sneak peek. Drew sent us a video of some wildlife. So it was kind of impressive.
Well, first he sent a video to all of us, or not a video, a picture outside of his motel room. Beautiful, the mountains and stuff. And then he said, I got to one-up myself, and then showed a picture of
a video.
A video, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be throwing that in there this week, and it'll be a little bit different, but it'll be the 29th episode, so you'll still be getting it here. And we'll post it sometime Wednesday. So that gives us time to get it all going and stuff like that. So
without further ado,
let's get into 29.
Hey, this is Bill DeWeese, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son voiceover podcast.
Exploring the space over there.
I am. Got all this room to myself. I don't know what to do with it.
He's the lone couch potato. Well, welcome to the original Father-Son voiceover podcast. This is the 29th episode. Today, we've got a little bit of a different crew here.
Skeleton crew.
Well, not really. We're holding up the fort.
Yeah.
Dad, Mom, John went to go see Drew in North Carolina, South Carolina area. Drew actually sent us a video of a black bear that was hanging out in a tree. So we'll play that. Demond will play that either in front of him, next to him, in front of us,
somewhere around here,
somewhere around us. Pull that just a little bit closer to yourself if you don't mind. There you go.
Perfect.
So yeah, and then we've got the second part of our Jeri and Jett Springstead interview. And then we've got the state of Florida, which we recorded while the guys were here. So you guys didn't miss out on Drew and Johnny and Dad. So why don't what we do with with the 29th episode, why don't what we do is get into the Wisconsin Heights Weekly with Joe.
So just a little bit of a fix here. I was working at the school yesterday, and a new viewer was talking with me about how I need to be more chipper when I'm doing these. I guess I'm not as chipper as I need to be, so I'm not doing it with. I'm doing it. Thought I was doing it with
lots of
zing.
emotion.
I thought I was doing it with a lot of zing and pep.
Yeah,
but I need to do it. This person asked if I would do it with even more zing and pep. So here it is.
What if we changed our outgoing answering machine message so it just had a little more zing and a little more pep?
Zing and pep. See, those are the kind of words we're looking for. Yes, Jim.
What about if we did an even newer voicemail message that had even more zing and pep?
Now we're cooking.
So this is Wisconsin Hikes Weekly. Next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there will be no school.
Wow.
The reason for that? Parent-teacher conferences.
Ooh.
So kids get those grades up. So the parents are happy with you. Going into sports, volleyball plays October 18th. That's a playoff game, a regional game.
Ooh, playoffs are already here?
Wow. So that's next Tuesday, the 18th, at Darlington, 7 p.m.
At Darlington.
So let's get out there and support the volleyball team.
Color?
Yeah, color theme.
That was not in there.
Just wear your green and white, and that should
that'll give you a good
suffice.
start. That'll
Or
give you a
they'll
good start.
announce it.
Yeah. And then the football team is 3-3. They play next Friday at 7 p.m. the 21st against St. Mary's Catholic Valley Christian.
Wow.
If I have that tongue twister
Yeah.
all taken care of. And then the soccer team is 4-7-3, and they are also playing playoff soccer.
Really?
They just beat Lodi
In the
other
playoffs?
day. Just the other day
Or
in,
just
in
regular
the regular season to
Okay.
finish it off. And they play next Thursday, October 20th, against Central Wisconsin Christian. I'm guessing a private school.
Central.
Yeah, I would assume so.
So
Hopefully
we'll
they
see
do
how
well.
they
Yeah.
they do there.
Was the football game home or is that away?
It is away.
Away
Yep,
football game.
all of the games this week, playoff games and the football game, are away.
Okay.
So I hope that suffices for enough zing and pep.
Pep.
Lots of I don't know what the viewer felt, that's the anonymous viewer, but there was definitely more zing and pep this time. I felt it.
You should have.
Duan, did you feel it? No.
I don't know what
Tough
I
critic.
don't know how much zing people are looking for. Like,
Yeah.
supposed to be happy.
So why don't what we do is we'll move on over to what's happening in Mazo, and obviously John's not here, so we don't have a lot of stuff. I don't know if you have anything, but Jeri Springstead, who is our interview this week, the second part, she is part of a quilting club. They make quilts and stuff like that, and she let us know that was going on and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of quilts down at the Mazo Mini Library. I walked in there to take some pictures. We'll show some of them. Jeri is one of the people who have made a couple of them. So I took a picture of some of those. There's some other people too. I don't exactly know who they are, but their names are listed below. And that we don't really know if they're for sale or not. But the guy that was there said that they, work on them every, 3 to 6 months, depending on how fast they can get through them. So thank you, Jeri, for letting us know about that. We really enjoy that. And if there's other people that know of things that are like that are going on that they'd like us to cover, let us know. Well, like I said, there's going to be pictures about it. There's going to be a little snippet, a couple paragraphs about what they're for, stuff like that, what it all entails. And so that's kind of what I saw. And then another thing, this isn't technically Mazo centered, but I took a drive up to Baraboo. And if anybody gets a chance to go up to Baraboo in the next week, I don't know how long the colors will stay that way, but the hills are just beautiful. They're just all sorts of colors, fall colors. And I think it's worth the trip. It was pretty impressive. I think they're a little bit ahead of us in their colors. Maybe they have more trees. Maybe that's why it looks like they are ahead of us. But there's a lot of trees up there that look quite nice, very aesthetically pleasing. So
something that's happening in Mazo that I've seen, and it's not that it doesn't take that much for me to see it since it's kind of in my backyard, but they are going to be taking down, I believe, the telephone lines that are connected to the poles, the telephone poles next to our house, which they're huge and they kind of take up some space. and they will be putting those underground.
Wow.
And so they're currently working on that. It took a little bit of time to get it going, but they are.
You've heard of burying the hatchet. They're burying the wires.
Yes, that's exactly true.
Literally.
You like that, Devon?
Are the people's names on the quilt that they've done?
There was a
or
little
signature?
piece on there
Square.
that had their little square that had their names on it and stuff like that. So if you zoom in or whatever, you can see real close. Maybe Damon, you can just put a little name under it to give them credit where credit is due, because those, I don't know how long that takes, but it would take me a long time to do it. So
That's very true.
thank you, Jeri, for letting us know about that. And do we have anything else?
That's
We'd
that's
like
all I
to-
have. That's all I have to say.
We're gonna next episode, the 30th episode, we're gonna have everybody back, and we're gonna be talking about their trip a little bit, and probably gonna get some pictures, videos, all sorts of things. It was 70 degrees there today, so
Not so much here.
not so much here.
Now with our type of weather, where it was like sleeting.
Yeah, yesterday.
We almost
Yeah.
got snow yesterday, which I'm looking forward to that, but I don't know if a lot of other people are. So, any other things
Nope.
before
I'm good.
we're good? Wow, that was pretty quick. We're trying to keep it
We don't have as many people,
We don't-
so we
that's
don't
right,
have as
yeah.
much to offer.
not as much to offer.
We're only going to be as big as we can. That's
Yeah.
this
So
right
once
now.
again, I guess I was going to say this about, and I commented about it on our Facebook. We really appreciate everybody who likes, watches the podcast. We really appreciate it. If there was one thing we could ask, it would be that you go ahead when you go to the YouTube page, if you could like and comment on the YouTube platform rather than on Facebook. That helps us out quite a bit more than it does on Facebook. If you're not comfortable with that, that's fine. It just helps us out quite a bit more. So we would appreciate it if if you're watching it on YouTube, just give it a thumbs up. And if you have something you want to comment it in the comment section there. We would really like to hear your comments and stuff like that. So up next, we have Jeri and Jett Springstead with their, Dad teased it probably 5 or 6 times, but their
Breaking
announcement. Yeah, their announcement. So we'll get to that right now. Hey everybody, it's Hudson here and my friend Jake. Hello. He's got a sturgeon. We're fishing the river, and you are watching the original Father-Son voiceover podcast.
Yeah, give them the link to the YouTube channel, and they'll be able to figure out everything from Mom and Dad. So now, you retired at 49,
Right.
and you retired, we won't say.
57.
57, okay. So you've been retired for a few years.
Yeah.
What have you guys been doing with your time? I have some things in mind, but there's probably some other things, like you do EMT, you restored the Methodist Church,
Right.
which I wouldn't mind talking just briefly about that. Just as I looked at it when I'd walk by, and I went there as a child, and what I thought about that, and just talk a little bit about that. But first, you have 3 sons.
Right.
Is Nate the oldest or Theron?
Theron's the oldest.
Theron is the oldest, and I think I coached Theron in junior
You did.
high.
Yep.
I have a picture of that group, and I could not find it for the life of me.
They were all tall, skinny kids.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so Theron graduated in what, like 95?
97.
97.
97.
97.
Okay. And then Nate was
Nate's our middle son.
middle,
And he graduated in 99.
99. And then Karsten,
Carson, wow, you're good. Carson graduated in 03.
03.
Yep.
Well,
2 years older than
Karsten
John?
is 2 years older than our oldest. Your youngest is 2 years older than
Right.
our oldest. And of course I coached Theron, so I kind of always knew your family a little bit, the boys anyway.
Yeah.
And I came from a family of 3 boys too, so
Right.
that kind of resonated with me. And where are the boys now? Are they all spread around, or?
Two of them are in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
nearby.
Okay.
Theron works in Madison as he works with a contractor. They basically do build outs, office build outs. They do a lot of restaurants in Madison. They'll do high end homes.
Okay.
They've done penthouses on the top of the Edgewater Hotel, that type of thing. It's very interesting. He got that job just as an intern when he was still a senior in college at the UW, and his boss said, "I'm hiring this guy." So he's been there ever since. They live in Edgerton.
Okay.
They have 3 kids. They have 2 boys and our only granddaughter, the youngest one.
It's a curse.
His wife, Erin, is the guidance counselor.
Say that again, sir.
Theron's wife, Erin, is the guidance counselor at Edgerton High School.
Okay.
And they have actually taken over the German exchange program.
At Edgerton?
From Heights.
Oh, from
really?
That Jeri was.
Really?
Yeah. So after I quit, there was no interest in maintaining the exchange program anymore that had been going since 1978. I'm not bitter. And
let's just get it out. Yeah, get it out, Jeri.
So anyway, one summer after I retired, I took the 3 girls, the 3 daughter-in-laws to Germany so that they kind of understood like what our life was like, because so many years we did these exchange programs, and so we had a blast. So daughter-in-laws are Erin, Trisha, and Lizzie.
By the way, that was my idea.
Okay.
That she take them over there. I wanted them to see her in her environment.
Okay. Really?
Isn't he a nice guy?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Smart.
so we went over there and we went and I had been saying, Erin, you should just do this program because, Eschwege is such a nice, very welcoming city. And we go there and we go into the school and we meet with the principal. And, we had been going so often that it was like I'd walk in the teacher's lounge and people would say, "Oh, Jeri's back. Hi, Jeri." It was just a wonderful atmosphere. And they sat down and they discussed it. And Erin said, "Sure, Edgerton will start being the exchange program with Eschwege." So they still do it. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. I thought each individual high school had to do that, but not.
It's a little. It's a kind of loosely organized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So through Wisconsin.
All the contacts were there. So
I see.
Yeah.
And so that's Theron, his wife and children, and then
Nathan is in Greendale, south
Okay.
of Milwaukee, and he has our oldest grandson, Isaiah, and another son, Tristan.
Okay.
He married Trisha. They went to the UW. They met there. And he went all the way there and studied so that he could meet somebody that lives 10 miles away in Sauk City.
Yeah, that's the way it is sometimes.
So she's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, and then Carson actually went to school in Winona State. And,
Okay.
oh, wait, we didn't go through this. So Nathan is also a geologist.
He is.
Yeah. And he went.
Well, he's actually a practicing geologist. He's employed.
Right. And
Yeah,
he
okay.
went back and got it. His geological engineering degree at Reno.
Yep.
He went to
Undergrad in Madison, and then
he went to Reno.
Wow.
Came back, and then the youngest is Carson, who went to Winona and got a degree in engineering, in geology. Met his wife Lizzie there, and they now live. So that's kind of an engineering campus, the Winona State, and he lived with a bunch of engineers, and they all graduated and went out to Seattle, and Carson graduated and went and worked in Plain for Kramer for a year.
Oh, really?
And his friends are like, "You should come out here. This is a happening town." And so he went out there, and they haven't come back. So
Really?
yeah,
Huh.
so that's where they are. They have no children.
Okay.
Yep.
So you don't get to see Karsten as much as the other boys, huh?
He's inconveniently located in
Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah.
But we do. Do we? I mean,
What?
yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, they are expecting their first child. and I don't
We're
want
pretty
to.
excited about
Breaking
that.
news! Breaking news!
I don't
Will you be in
wanna-
trouble for this?
No, they said no. We can tell, but
Just don't go on a podcast and tell people.
Yes, Mom and Dad, you can do whatever you
only
want.
thing.
Just don't do it on that
They had
huge
nothing in writing.
father-son voiceover podcast. This gets all around the world. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
So you guys, that's what you do. You know, you have children and grandchildren.
Right.
That's one of the things you do when you're retired. But you also work for Mazo Mani EMT, both of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And what are your responsibilities there? And they just had a sign up saying we need more EMTs.
It said we need
Definitely.
the Barsnesses. I think that's
Right.
what the sign
eight
said.
of us, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. So our District 1 EMT organization out here is the last volunteer organization in Dane County.
It is.
Yeah. Most of them used to be all volunteer, and we're the last one. And it's a difficult struggle, and we really need a lot more volunteers. There's a lot of things are impacting that. COVID being one of them, and the fact that a lot of the EMTs were, for instance, medical students, nursing school students, that type of stuff in Madison, where District 1 would pay for their instruction. In return, they would have to serve out here for a year and, do like 3 shifts a month, that type of thing. COVID really had a huge impact on that. The other thing that has impacted, there seems to be a movement in the emergency management situation to push for higher levels and getting into paramedics and that type of thing, and more full-time professionals. That is going to have some budget considerations in terms of the amount of pay, because when we started, we were getting $12 a day, $12 a shift for 12 hours.
That's like $1 an hour.
It was.
Good
But
math.
it was a surprise to us because we signed up
we
and
were not going to get anything. We're like, whoa,
and
$12.
the number of hours you have to put in to get certified as an EMT now has drastically gone up. It's nearly double of what we did, and we thought that was terrible.
Really?
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that they're looking more, instead of just having trained people, they're looking to have people that are like overtrained, and the hospitals are really pushing to have people in the field be really ready to do a lot more than I think than probably, my opinion, than is necessary. We are 20 minutes from 5 wonderful hospitals here.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that we need such strict advanced training right here. If we can put them in the ambulance and get them in there, but that's a whole other
Yeah.
ballgame.
When you realize that Madison and Middleton and the surrounding area, they're all paramedics, highly trained, but they're 5 minutes from a hospital. So the amount of interventions that they have to do often are much less than we have to do with a patient that takes 20, 25 minutes to get them to the hospital.
Yeah.
So.
And so you guys how many, do you do multiple shifts per week, or what do you do? And do you do them together, or do you have to do them separately, or how does that work?
Well, we've kind of like fixed in on one shift a week on every, day shift on Mondays.
So if you're going to get sick, Monday is the time.
Monday is the time.
I'll
You're
make sure I
going to
write
really be
that
taking
down.
care of them.
That's
Yeah.
right. At least it's been that way for the last 3 or 4 years. I think we were Wednesdays for many. For many.
Do you have to go there and
years.
stay?
No, that's one nice thing about living here in Mazamania. As long as we're 3 minutes from the station, we don't have to stay at the station. So that's one of the advantages. The fact that we're retired, that's kind of what else we'd like to look for, is retired people that are here during the day.
Yeah.
Because other people that have, day jobs, they can fill the night shifts and weekends and that type of thing. But it is really difficult filling the day shifts. And it's kind of moving to what they call an LTE position, where they're
Limited time employment, correct?
limited time employment, and they're
Much
paid
information.
quite a lot more money
Yeah.
Sure.
per hour than volunteers.
Do you get one of those flashing red
Oh, and
lights?
It'd be nice, but we don't.
Oh, you don't? Oh,
No.
okay. That'd be
So
a big
we-
selling point, I
So
would
we
think.
obey the speed limits and everything to get down to the station in
Okay.
those 3 minutes. Yeah.
so we
for
work
you.
together, but we are called the Bickersons because I'm like, come on, Jett, have you done the blood pressure yet? And he goes, oh, Jeri, come on. And I'm like, you got to do this report. And so finally, I realized we have a patient that's going, I said, we're married.
She doesn't
Everything's
quite-
gonna be fine.
She
We're
doesn't quite realize that I'm the crew chief for that.
Who takes orders from him? Come
Okay,
on.
so-
And it's usually about halfway to the hospital that one of us has to tell the patient, by the way, we're married.
Yeah.
And they go, oh.
Oh, okay. That explains the
one
whole
person,
thing.
one
Yeah.
cute story. A lady, I said, oh, by the way, we're married. And she goes, well, my husband's in the front seat. This is a double date.
Right. But I will have to say that she has the great bedside manner. Okay. Usually we're going in and I'm writing the report, I'm doing the radio report, that type of thing. And she is talking, and I'm trying to get technical information out of what her exchange is with the patient. And it's usually like, now, you're related to who, and whose cousin is that, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And the great part about it, I can look over and I see the patient's heart rate has gone down, the blood pressure has gone down. She is just great with that. It's been, I missed that in the last month since she hasn't been able to run. And there's been a couple times where I've had to take that over, and that's a difficult job.
Oh, yeah. No, it's working to my strength.
The segue into, we'll get back to retirement, but one of the things you guys do is bike, and you had an accident.
I did.
Pretty bad one, huh?
Yeah. Humbling. It's not a disease. I'm getting better, right? Yeah, I'm blaming it on him. My front tire clipped his back tire on Rochek Road, nice and flat, no traffic, no.
You take your kids out there to teach them how to ride.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. Then boom, I landed in the ditch and got an ambulance ride, but not with our ambulance. Our ambulance was out for an oil change, so Sock had to come. But I'm getting better.
Were you there then?
Oh yeah.
So you were the bedside manner person then?
Yeah, or the curbside manner.
Yeah.
Curbside. Yeah.
You're related to who?
And when will you be fully recovered? Do you have any ideas?
I soon, I hope.
Okay.
It's good. So many people have so many worse things.
You want to talk about that. So you decided to buy the old Methodist church.
He did.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Becky and I walk by there basically every day. We have a walk about 2.5 miles. We walk every day, and you guys were diligently down there. And in all honesty, I would say, boy, I hope he's trained as, a construction guy or something, because that is a big job. And I imagined, to be quite honest with you, I don't know if you know, like in Black Earth, there's 2 churches that have been remodeled into apartments and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And that's fine, whatever. But some of it was a little bit hobnobby and stuff, or kind of. But when I saw the pictures of what you guys did, I thought there's no way. They were out there working, but then they had crews of, like, one of your sons. Which one is it that does the does the remodeling and all these stuff?
Right.
But you did that. You guys did that all yourself.
Well,
pretty much.
He gave us. Right. We had an architect.
I did the plan, gave it to
right.
him. He took it to basically the construction engineers that basically said, yeah, this is how you can do it. And they came back with, because we put a walkway and that type of thing. And so they were able to determine, okay, you're going to need supports here. You need to going to put footings in the basement, that type of thing. So they told us all that, what we need to do. And then we went ahead and did that.
But you did it.
Yeah.
See, I mean, I can mentally, like, I designed this whole upstairs and stuff.
It's nice.
But the thing is it's
Why
nice,
is
but it's
Hudson
nothing
laughing?
like what you guys did.
Wide open.
But I wouldn't even
Nothing
attempt
anywhere.
to do the job. I wouldn't even attempt to do it because I'm just not handy. But how did you learn that growing up, or did you just put on your tool belt and say, I'm just going to figure this out, or what?
We have done a lot of different things in terms of even on our own house, putting on the deck, tile work, that type of thing.
Okay.
But we did have professionals come in. So Steve Flogel did the electric. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it isn't like we did that. And then Rodney and Vern Holler did the roughing.
The rough.
And then we had the roof done. And we had a plumber. So it was done correctly.
Yeah.
But
I mean, just the so much of the work.
Oh, I know.
The front labor and the
Really,
planning things and stuff.
The
Like,
first
I'd
thing
see
was
you
putting
guys out there.
hazmat suits on and getting 100 years worth of pigeon poop out of the attic.
Yeah.
we did have fun, though, with those
Yeah.
hazmat suits. We went outside during recess and walked around.
Don't do that around COVID.
Yeah, right.
Those kids definitely would have been afraid of you.
But I remember walking by there, you'd have the saw out there and you'd be sawing something, you run back in there, and I thought, boy, I wonder what's...
You
But
too
it was,
bad
you know,
you
it
didn't
was,
come
it was
through.
8 to 10
I
years.
I
feel
thought
bad.
about doing it, but I thought, I'm not going to
We took a lot
bug
of
these
people
people.
through. I mean, we weren't discriminating.
Yeah, but you did a very wonderful job. You really
thank
did. I mean, far, far better than I thought other people have done with church buildings. I mean, as far as right around here, you did a very excellent job.
It really is. It really was nice.
Well, we kind of had our hearts into it too. There's a lot of history in that building then, and it was too nice as a structure to not bring back and make useful to the village.
Yeah, seems like you honored the architecture and stuff, and yet made it
Useful.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, so the person that had started the remodel had bought the Harrington house next door, and then everything just went to heck, right? 2007, 2008, right? And so he had made a large scaffolding structure for the interior. And we had, of course, gotten bids on doing this and this and this. And he is on the third level up there, with mask on, and he's knocking down the plaster and then putting it in a container, and then it goes down another layer or another level, and then I pick it up and take it outside. And I'm like, I said to him, I thought we were hiring this part out. It just, every little thing, it's like, well, we're not going to hire this out. If we said, no, I think we can get this done. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you keep track of your hours?
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding?
No, didn't keep track of the hours. No, but kept
every
track
penny
of every
that went
little thing
into
that
it.
was in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's lots of spreadsheets at our house.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was nice. It was a labor of love, we
Yeah.
say.
Would you ever
I did
do it?
have to build a scale model
You did.
Really? Oh.
to convince her and convince Thera and my son that this
could be done.
This could be done. This could work.
Really?
Design. Yeah.
Would you ever do anything like that, or is it like now as you get a little bit older,
I
you're going,
have
"Oh, I just
an
I couldn't."
unbelievable appreciation for people that work in the trades. And towards the end, I was in a couple places that my son was working on, and he had the workers in there, and I see young people doing tile work, and he gets kind of irritated when I start talking to him and says, do not do this your entire life. Find something else, because, the bursitis and hernias and that type of thing, it's like, it's amazing to do that that long.
Yeah.
It's really taxing on your body.
I like to watch people who are good at anything, but especially like the trades, because I just can't do it.
Right.
But like people just put in carpet this last week for us, and I've tried to lay carpet before. It does not go well.
Yeah.
It does not go well.
Pulling it out is
you think,
difficult.
how hard is this?
Pulling it out
pulling
is
it out is even
difficult.
difficult. Putting it in, stretching it properly and getting it butted up there and fit right and cut right. I never have things that are sharp and stuff. So anyway, I mean, I like to watch. The only is I'm like that progressive guy where I'm always standing over people, asking them questions and stuff. And so you hired him to do this.
I think if we were younger, we'd probably say, "Oh yeah, let's find another place." But no, not at our age.
Yeah.
People do send us little things in the mail like, this church is for sale. And so I'm like, no.
It's just a one-time thing.
We mail some matches back to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any other hobbies that you of note? Or I mean that's quite a full retirement already with children, grandchildren.
Well, we do have bees.
We keep bees.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Up at your location up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, behind there. So
we used to have so Frank Holtzman got us started, and we used to have, we were up to 13 hives, and we're down to about 3 now, and I was going to the market to sell the honey, and really, he said he'd rather have all of his teeth pulled than go to the market and talk to everybody. So I'm giving samples, and I'm kind of loving it. But you come home and like, wow, all that work, and we came home with $80. Wow! So it just now at the end of our little cul-de-sac, we just have a self-serve honey thing, and it works out just great. And people are so honest.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that works. So that's our.
I've seen the signs, but I didn't know. I wouldn't have assumed that was you guys up there.
It is.
What's the name of your? Do you have a company name?
It just falls off the Windflower Apiaries. Isn't that just easy to say?
Windflower Apiary.
It says a wispy, beautiful.
Yeah, it should be. There's so many other cute names. One's called Working Girls. I always liked that. But I don't know, whatever. But in between, I do have to make this plug for Mazomanie. I was with a group of women, and we built the splash pad down at the
Yes,
park.
right.
Yeah, so
yes, that's right.
So while he was getting figures ready for the the church and getting that renovated, I was like writing these please send us money things. So we got that was a nice.
Yeah.
And it was I think I still quite proud that that's a nice amenity that we've added to the community. So.
You guys have done a lot for our community and for the school district and stuff.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate
we
it.
liked it. It's been good to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got another question. We haven't tackled the most important one.
What's that?
His
yes,
nickname.
yes.
How
Your
could you
nickname.
forget?
We've got like
the biggest one. We've got about
like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
tell us? Can you tell us a little bit how you got that nickname?
Freshman year at the university. Of course, back then, it's probably the same now, but you have to live in the dorm your first year. And the dorm floors had a thing that was called the Supremacy Cup. So you had football teams, basketball, swimming, track, all those things, and you earned points.
Mm.
And the campus champion in football would then play Minnesota's champion in football.
Oh, really?
Okay. So the first thing is flag football. And so my freshman year in the fall, and so our dorm team goes down. And so I was in Bullis House, and we had won the Supremacy Cup the year before that I was a freshman. Bullis House had.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were very into it. And so I was on the football team. And when the flag football back then, it's like you hardly ever scored.
Okay.
Sometimes you'd win games based on who had the most first downs.
Oh, really? I
Wow.
didn't. Okay.
Yeah, because everybody packed in so much
Mm-hmm.
that, if you just get near the guy and you can grab the flag, it's not like you have to tackle him or
Yeah,
anything
right.
like that. So the spacing is pretty difficult. And so we decided out of our practice, I would line up wide, and I just burned down the field. And the first play would just loft the ball as far as hand, and I'd run down, catch it, score a touchdown, cause everybody else on the other teams to then, okay, their safeties are way back.
Yeah.
They play off.
Yeah.
And that allowed all the underneath plays to go through. And they ended up, so I was fast, in other words.
Yeah.
And so they just started calling me Jett Springer. It was Springer before that, but then it was Jett Springer. And so like the first play of every game, we get in the huddle and okay, it's Jett Springer. And we do that. And a lot of times, we probably scored on half of them. But it still relaxed the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And
Stretch the field.
So that group that I was with, I was 2 years in the dorms with them, and then we moved out and we lived off campus.
Yeah.
They all just called me Jett all the time since that. So when we met, and my roommate was going with Jeri's sister, and they drove together down there to the university. We're living just off Regent Street in a house. And they came up on that first day before registration. John, my roommate, another reason I've called Jett, because we had a lot of John.
Okay. Yeah.
Her brother was John. This was a
Wow.
John, her sister's boyfriend. And so John introduced us and as Jett. And
I didn't know he had another name.
No,
Yeah.
I think we dated for a couple of weeks before she knew that my name was.
You thought your name was John? You thought his name was Jett?
Well,
yeah.
I mean, everybody called him
Yeah.
Jett. And
Those are the best nicknames, the ones that are
Yeah.
that you use in place of your first
Yeah.
name. Those are great.
do you have one?
Right.
Do I have a couple? I mean, Huddy.
Oh,
That's
sure.
whatever, which is
sure.
Hudson, whatever. But Tylen Parman, right next door, we call him Fred.
Oh, I
And-
love it.
and
Why?
He looked like Fred Mertz when he was a little kid. You know who Fred Mertz is from Lucille Ball?
So everybody just calls him Fred, and it's just you don't call him Ty anymore or anything
Right.
like that. It's just
Right.
Fred.
Right.
Fred.
There's other people that
Yeah.
get really good nicknames,
Yeah.
and that you just call them by that,
Sure,
and that's
sure.
Of course, my parents know nothing about that, and the other side of
Yeah.
my family and all
Yeah.
my relatives have no idea.
Yeah, who's
Yeah, I
Jett?
always thought when I first heard that, I'd like to call him Jett, but I think you should know somebody,
Yeah.
kind of before you should be a friend of theirs.
And a younger
so now
person
I
can.
feel like I
Yeah.
can.
You
There you
can.
go.
Now I can say,
can.
there goes
Yeah.
Jett. It's Jett Springer. I'll even have the
Yeah.
inside
It
scoop.
was just Springer for a while.
Oh, just Springer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was better than the other one I had in high school, which was Little Ivan, because my dad was Ivan Springstead, and being with a Y, everybody knew him. So all the kids
Yeah.
at school called me Little Ivan. So
Oh,
it's
a
like,
little Ivan. Yeah.
Jerry Springer. There you go.
So here's the cute story. So when I was teaching them, Mert Carlson used to call me Springboard all the time. And I said, Mark Carlson's calling me Springboard. He goes, oh, yeah, people used to call me Springboard too. I'm like, really? We share the same nickname?
Yeah.
Husband and wife are the same. Well, thanks so
Yeah,
much,
thanks,
you
guys.
guys,
This
for
was
taking,
fun.
and not only the half hour, but we got you for an extra
Yeah,
hour.
we'll have you on two episodes because you guys were wonderful.
So full of
Seriously, that
stories and stuff. And but before we go, you can take these for your grandchildren if you want. Here's a coupon to the original father-son voiceover podcast prize table.
Great.
You get to go over there and pick something. Now, I know you guys are so thin and in shape that you probably have mostly just candy and stuff, but there's some thank
Do we
you
have
cards.
to give it to the kids?
What's that?
Does it have to go to
No.
the kids?
No. I would.
You go get it because if I get it, you'll complain later.
No, I
Yeah. No, you can
they
get
call
two.
us the
You can each get
Bickersons.
one
Really?
because
Okay.
you had 2 sessions. So we'll
All right.
close things out. We'll do
Yeah.
that, and then we got to get a picture with you guys. Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you guys.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you.
very
This
much
was
for
really,
coming.
listen, like, who doesn't like to come and talk about themselves for an hour?
Well, and we like to learn.
Ridiculous.
Yep. Yep.
Ridiculous, yeah.
So thank you guys, and then we'll be done here, and
Great.
you guys can
All right.
grab your stuff. So
Thanks a lot. Yep.
Local guests of the original Father-Son voiceover podcast get a coupon towards the FSVP prize table and your choice of a valuable take-home gift. Congratulations and thanks for being a guest on the original Father-Son voiceover podcast.
So here we are back on the, what episode are we on now? 29th episode of the original Father-Son voiceover podcast. John's here, Hudson's here, Joe Bobby's here on the computer to fact check us, and Drew is here to take us through the state of
Florida
Florida.
today.
Nice.
Yep.
Without further ado,
We don't
Further
have any
Drew.
national holidays to bog us down today.
Awesome.
So we're just going to get right into it. State of Florida. State of Florida's flower is the orange blossom. Maybe Damon can. I wonder if it's. I want. It probably is orange.
I would assume maybe it is.
I didn't see it this time.
Unless somebody was colorblind.
of
and
an
they said
orange tree,
Don't know. Good question.
because you know
That's
they're
possible.
famous for oranges.
You're right. You're absolutely right. The state bird is, and this has been, I think, in a few other states, maybe one of the, I think it was Alabama, the northern mockingbird. Let me tell you a little bit about the
As
northern
opposed to the
mockingbird.
southern mockingbird.
True. I'm not sure there is one. It is in the southern.
Yeah, but that's
You can't get
interesting.
much further south in,
But that's
in
where
Florida.
they migrate from. They migrate from the north to the south.
Makes sense. There
There
you
you
go.
That's why it could be down
Let's
there.
hear what Drew has to say.
The common mockingbird is a superb songbird and mimic. Its own song has a pleasant littling.
Lilting.
Let's try that. Yeah. Pleasant
Lilting.
lilting.
What does
Sound-
lilting mean, Joe?
I don't know.
It's not a big thing. It's a little thing.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna say
it's a lilting. It's
That's
like
not bad. That's a pretty
yeah.
decent joke.
It usually
my
I think
rapper
has to
name.
do with music or
Lil Ting. That'd
songs,
be my rapper name.
things like that. But anyway, yeah.
Its own song
Speak,
has a pleasant.
sing, or
Oh.
sound with a lilt.
So we
That's
still
tough
we didn't
when
get
the-
any closer.
When the name
That's
comes
a
back into the
great- They do a
They
definition.
do a circular
Yeah.
definition. That's
That means they
rough.
don't know either.
yeah. Exactly.
It says a lilting voice or tune gently rises and falls in a way that is pleasant to listen to.
Okay, that
So
was
it is
better.
pleasant. But that's this. You described it.
It's a
itself
lilting
again.
sound.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
pleasant
I don't
sound.
think anybody knows what that word means.
Why don't you just use pleasant instead of lilting?
Its own song has a pleasant lilting sound and is at times both varied and repetitive, Often the mockingbird sings all night long, especially under bright springtime moonlight. That might be annoying if it was right outside of
All
your...
night long. Oh, yeah.
Maybe it sings that.
Well,
It sounds-
if you sit there and sing it before
Maybe
you go
it
to bed,
mimics
maybe
you.
it sings.
It is.
Yeah.
Lionel
Richie.
Richie, yeah.
Lilting Richie. The state tree is the sable palm. Palmetto. Palmetto. The sable palm, it's just called a palm, I think, that's just a nick. Sure.
Yeah.
That's just a nick.
Is the most widely distributed palm in Florida. It grows in almost any soil and has many uses, including food, medicine, and landscaping. That's all there.
Interesting.
The state animal is the Florida panther,
Nice.
which
That
I
makes
think would be
sense.
fun to see out because we drive past those signs all the time in Florida.
I'm glad you mentioned that because besides Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, which grandparents and in-law, people live in Michigan, so we always travel. Is Florida our most visited state? No, Iowa probably.
Yeah.
Because we live in Wisconsin. But
I guess
Florida.
so. That's one we go to now.
Yeah, right.
It's our go-to.
Yeah.
But, so this is kind of our state.
Yeah.
We're kind of
Adopted.
snowbirds
Yeah.
for 1 month
For
in
a week.
November.
Yeah.
1 week
It's
in
not our
November.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Florida panther is a North American cougar population in South Florida. It lives in pinelands, tropical hardwood hammocks, which I wouldn't mind living in a tropical hardwood hammock, but that's really just an area of grass that's
Oh.
in the marsh.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's not an
hammock.
actual...
Hammock.
Yeah, which makes sense. They're not lounging on hammocks.
Okay, cool.
And mixed freshwater swamp forests. It is known under a number of common names, including Costa Rican puma,
Heard about
Pumas.
that.
Florida cougar, and Florida puma.
Mountain lion, as we call them around here.
Are they this? I mean,
don't
I'm
think
sure
so.
they're
Are they?
different.
They're in the cat family.
Yeah, but are they the same?
I don't
To
know.
the cougar?
I think they're similar. I think
Mountain
they're,
lion?
I think they're
all
similar, but I
They're
don't know
just
for sure if they're
different.
the exact.
They just live in
It's just
different
the fact
areas
that they live. They don't-
geographically.
and that's what makes them
And
different.
some of them might be, like some of them might be a little sturdier, smaller, sturdier, or some of them a little rangy, a little long,
Wow,
athletic.
you are a cougar puma
Didn't even know it.
Expert.
expert. Yeah.
Didn't even know it.
Self-proclaimed.
Well,
You just became one.
Hudson is correct.
Of course I am.
A cougar and a mountain lion are essentially the same animal.
Essentially, though.
They're simply called different names in different parts of the
I think
world.
I think Hudson's right.
Well, but I don't know.
Hey,
do we
mark
have
one up here.
Do we have is the mountain lion? Is it called a mountain lion here? That was the question.
It is
I was
out
just,
west, right?
I was giving all the names: panther, cougar, mountain lion.
The
You
mountain
said we have
lion,
mountain lions around here.
the mountain lion, also
I was
known
giving-
as
okay.
the cougar, puma, panther, or catamount.
I'm with you on this.
Yeah,
Catamount?
we're all. Yeah. That's
I was
like
just
the
giving,
Vermont
I was giving
catamount?
extra names. I was just giving the names.
okay. Well,
of all
we'll
of
watch
them.
it back.
Okay,
Catamount.
I was
too?
right though. That's the biggest thing.
Wow.
The Vermont catamounts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're cougars.
Okay.
No, they're catamounts, not cougars. 'cause
You
it's not the
know
same thing.
it. The state nickname is the
Sunshine State.
Sunshine State. I was gonna hold off on that and see if you guys knew what that meant, but you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some state facts.
Boom.
Yeah, that's what
Cape Canaveral
Mm.
is America's launch pad for space flights.
Okay.
Orlando attracts more visitors than any other amusement park destination in the United States.
Wow.
Wait, no.
Okay.
Orlando is an amusement park?
Disney.
Or
Yeah.
Disney.
The whole city.
Is it all Disney, basically? Or do they have other
They might have others. I don't
amusement
know.
parks there?
Maybe because of Disney that
Yeah.
Orlando
Yeah.
is the most visited.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just didn't know if, I've never been there. I've never been to Disney World or Disneyland. And so I'm probably one of the only people in the United States that hasn't, along with all of you
I am.
guys.
We
I
have
did
it
say
either.
there's.
But I was just
couple of us
wondering
here.
if Orlando has multiple.
I've been past it because that's where we would go. We would fly in for baseball for
yeah.
spring training,
You know a guy who had a.
but we didn't go in. So I've been past it. So I kind of
Wait, you've been over it or past it?
Well, we drove past it.
Drove past it.
You
I haven't been in the amusement park.
You know a guy that had
You know
a
a guy.
yearly pass, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, he's
Go
from the
there every
area.
year.
He goes multiple times a year.
That's
He
amazing.
winters down there, and then he has like a son or daughter down there, and then they take the grandkids, and he goes 4 or 5 times a year, which I've never been, and honestly, I never will go.
I wouldn't get a
Unless, like, when I'm senile, you guys take me, and I wouldn't know it anyway. It's like I never went.
and for reference, we have like Devil's Lake Park.
Yeah.
And I would never get a yearly pass for that. Wouldn't go enough.
Or how about
the Dells?
The Dells.
Yeah.
Or how about if Lake Marion had a yearly
Mhm.
pass, I wouldn't have one because I just don't go there
Well,
enough.
Plus, you can't even swim there.
Or a lot of other
It's
things.
true.
When I was in college, people would say, "What? You live 45 minutes from the Dells?
Yeah.
Oh, you must be up there every weekend, once a month, once a year, maybe.
Wow,
maybe.
I'm not a millionaire. Not up there every weekend.
I'm not up there every weekend.
Can't
I
spend
got things to
money
do.
like
I got a
Dad's up in the
job.
Dells.
I work for a living.
Yeah. You would if you worked up there.
Yeah.
That's what you do as a retiree.
Yeah, you could be a
With all
lifeguard.
those young guys, you'd be up there.
David
Go
Hasselhoff.
ahead. Nobody would come up to your ride.
I chase people
ahead.
away. Well, I don't have to have my shirt off necessarily,
well,
although that might
that's-
still be a problem.
That's probably true. If you went in for they'd say, well, one thing, we usually have the guys with their shirts off, but we're going to actually suggest that you don't.
Actually, they won't let me have my shoes off either because my toenails
true.
are all grody
Oh,
too. You know,
full
sorry, too much
opportunity.
information.
Puncture
to
holes
Florida.
in the tubes. The tubes. Go ahead. Pop.
Be a body slide all of a sudden.
I think
we're
I'll
gonna
just
have
stay home in my studio.
Todd, we're gonna have to
and
let
kinda
you go.
slowly
There
retire.
aren't any benefits of this
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. That was fun.
that was a rabbit
Yeah, back
trail.
to Florida, right?
Yeah, big
Yeah.
time.
Please. A museum in Sanibel owns 2 million shells and clams to be the world's only museum devoted solely to mollusks. And I think nobody else cares that they have that distinction.
Hopefully somebody didn't shell them.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah,
Remember,
no.
we saw
They had
those
to have no
signs. They
shelling.
said no shelling.
Yeah.
And we thought we couldn't even pick up one.
Yeah.
But what
But
was
then we
that?
saw
What-
people that
You
had
can't
just
sell them, right?
buckets
Correct.
full.
Yeah, you can't grab them and
you
sell
can
them.
take them
you
home.
can't sell them, and then you can't have them ones that have living things in them.
Oh, well, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
Let
That's
them
true.
live.
Yep. Let
Let me see.
Yeah. Venice, Florida is known as the shark tooth capital of the world. Collecting prehistoric shark's teeth has been a favorite pastime of visitors and residents of the Venice area for years. Safety Harbor is the home of the historic Espiritu Santo Springs. Given this name in 1539 by the Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto,
We talked about him before.
always looping it back. He
Yeah.
was searching for the legendary fountain of youth. The natural springs have attracted attention worldwide for their curative powers. We should head down there the next time, Espiritu Santo Springs. In Safety Harbor,
The only
Safety
problem
Dance.
is you got to deal with the smell of sulfur all the time.
It's worth it to be healthy, though.
I guess so.
Give a little to get a little.
Yep.
Key West has the highest average temperature in the United States. Kind of makes sense. The southernmost
Point.
Do you remember when you drive down Highway 14?
Yep.
Past Spring Green to Lone Rock, they have the little
Oh, yeah.
temperature thermometer, and it says coldest. Doesn't it say coldest spot in the United States in Lone Rock, Wisconsin? I think so.
I think so.
Here's the hottest.
Yep.
We
live close.
we live
to
close, and then we drive. We get down there, and we're close to it too.
Yeah.
The
You bet.
warmest.
We've talked about driving down to Key West, but it's like 4 hours after you.
And we're pretty far south when we go down
Yeah,
there.
you know it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Unbelievable.
It's just like when we used to. Once in a while, a couple of times we drove when we lived in Michigan. We drove. You get through Georgia finally. You get to Florida. You say, "Oh, great, we're almost there," but we're going to Fort Myers, and so you got another 4 or 5 hours yet,
Yeah,
or
it's a
something.
long state.
That's true.
Long state. The St. Johns River is one of the few rivers that flows north instead of south.
Interesting.
I thought this was kind of interesting, and I think you will too. That's why I put it on here.
Nice.
Fort Zachary Taylor in Key West was built between 1845 and 1866. Controlled by the Union during the Civil War, the fort was the home base for a successful blockade of Confederate ships that some historians say shortened the conflict by a full year.
Wow.
The fort also was active during the Spanish-American War, World War I, and World War II. So a lot of history out there.
Nice.
I thought it was interesting. It was controlled by the Union.
Down south there, yeah.
Yeah, way down
in
there.
enemy territory.
Yep.
Yep. Deep.
Behind enemy lines.
Yep. Saint Augustine probably is how they say
Augustine.
it. Augustine.
I think Augustine.
No, Augustine.
Is the oldest European settlement in North America.
Oh, okay. So is it named after Saint Augustine?
I don't know.
In over in the Holy Land?
That would stand to reason.
Okay.
It's named after Saint Augustine since it's named Saint Augustine.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it's like Oregon and Oregon. It has a different name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They Americanized it or whatever they did. I don't know. So anyway,
I don't either.
I don't want to argue with Joe because he just destroyed me on the English to the French.
Just kept doing it too. He just kept kind of pounding away at you.
Yep.
The United States city with the highest rate of lightning strikes per capita is Clearwater, Florida. We all knew this, but I thought our viewers should know it. Gatorade was named for the University of Florida Gators, where the drink was first developed.
Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
Gatorade, yeah, you bet.
Commercial.
Miami Beach pharmacist Benjamin Green invented the first suntan cream in 1944. He accomplished this development by cooking cocoa butter in a granite coffee pot on his wife's stove.
Cocoa butter has exploded, it seems like, these days. I'm not saying it's
In
because
popularity?
of him. Yeah.
Or like in general, it's just exploded.
Just like it's all over the place. Cocoa butter this, cocoa butter that.
Yeah.
Huh. I
almost everywhere I turn to cocoa butter.
I'm not up
Here
on
a cocoa butter, there a cocoa
Of course,
butter.
you get out
everywhere
sometimes.
a
You
cocoa
go
butter.
like to the school and stuff. I don't get out. I go to the mailbox, so I don't hear about cocoa butter and big things like that. Things that are going on in the world.
I think it's overhyped.
You'll get some of the main announcements that go around. Neil Smith and his brother, we don't know what his brother's name is, but we know Neil's, developed the first snapper riding lawnmower.
Oh.
Snapper.
Nice.
I didn't really know Snapper was a name brand or was a brand of riding lawnmower. It was the first.
Interesting. His didn't give his brother any credit. It was just his brother.
Just Neil and his brother. Well, that's kind of how I feel in this podcast. It's Hudson and his brothers. So
that's what happens when you have such a great idea.
Get credit for it.
Yeah.
Miami installed the first bank automatic teller ATM machine, especially for rollerbladers. I wonder what that looks like.
Imagine they had a roller derby.
Does it dispense your money on the go?
Yeah, maybe you type something in, and then you start rollerblading to the money spot. Maybe it's got like a little thing where you can slide in there like this, and it catches your blade so you can grab it.
I would definitely do it where you go and then you spin around and get it. So you stop yourself and spin around, and then you grab your money and go.
From behind, like you, or 360 or 180?
No, like this.
Where's the?
So you go like, so you're coming at it, like this. Here it is, and you're coming at it, and you go, whoom, and you get it, and then you go.
So you go out where you came in from.
Whoom. Good sound effects.
Yeah. No, I mean you're going, and here's the ATM.
I understand.
And you hit the brakes. I don't know how you do it exactly. I'd
like
do
to
it.
see
It's
you
just
do it.
kind of a natural given ability that I have with rollerblades, and you hit it, and you wham, and then your hand is here, and you grab the money, and you're just gone.
You scoot from there. Yeah.
That's what I would do.
It's interesting how different
It's
people's
probably good
minds
because of
work.
those-
I mean, I don't ever rollerblade, never have, so that puts me out of the conversation completely.
Because
But
you really don't ever think about
right,
rollerblading.
but then I don't ever think about him anyway, really.
Right.
You know. But Joe, he's got this whole plan for how he would use that. I wonder if they still have those.
Don't know.
Maybe they had to do them for rollerbladers because of the roller derby. Didn't want to get knocked out of the way. You're doing your money real quick.
I think
get out of the way.
I think you just want to talk about the
Roller derby.
Well, it's got to be quick. You don't want to get run over by somebody else who's
Oh,
coming.
it's not like in a roller
So
derby
they implemented
area,
ATMs in roller derbies.
Yep.
See,
that's
that's for the participants.
Yeah.
yeah.
Had to pay their way in.
Okay.
Although that would be kind of an interesting event. The roller derby where they're trying to get
ATM,
into the
yeah.
ATM, whoever gets the most money out of it.
Yeah. Maybe you've thought of a new game show.
Yeah.
Yep.
This
Casey.
is gonna tell us a little bit about swamps and
Oh, good.
functions. 3 major functions of swamps. First, number one, its vegetation serves as a filter to clean the water as it moves.
Heard that.
Makes it slow journey southward. So
Cool.
it's getting cleaner and cleaner. So that at the bottom, it's just crystal clear, probably.
Yep. That's what they make bottled water out of.
Yeah,
Right at the end there, they just soak it up and
Pull it right out
there you
of
go.
straight out of the marsh.
Yeah.
Swamp.
Secondly, here's number two. It's a major habitat for wildlife and plant life. Kind of knew that. Finally, it actually prevents flooding by slowing down the flow of water after heavy rains.
That makes sense.
I knew the first two, but I didn't know that last one. So learning is what we're all about here on the podcast.
Just give you a little.
Let's try useful.
Good. It's got a
Here's-
three-way filtration system.
Right after we got all of that knowledge, here are some weird laws in
Yeah, these are
Florida.
my
These are what
favorite.
people beg for
Yeah, they
on our
beg.
podcast. They're always asking for this.
And we're a podcast that listens,
yes.
as BJ commented.
Yep. The first one is, which seems pretty standard, but they got a law in the books: no selling your kids for cash. It is against the law to sell your children in the state of Florida.
By check though, is that all right? Just
That's
not
where
by
they're
cash?
about
ATMs.
That's
roller
that would
derby
be
people
cash.
were selling.
That'd be cash,
That'd be
though, so
cash,
that'd be out.
True.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that.
But they did say that if you're thinking that there's a loophole because it doesn't verify if somebody decides that they're going to take a credit card.
Trust.
Then do you put in what it's for? You put for kids.
Getting
And you
rid
pay
of
by
kids.
cash, yeah.
You mean in the
By-
memo?
by check.
Yeah. You put selling children.
Selling children. Yep.
Buying children.
That's
Doesn't say anything about selling other people's children. though.
yeah.
That's where you can
Was
accept
Joe's
cash.
good at doing
Cash.
stuff like that? Remember in college, he sold other people's books.
Yeah, he sold books he didn't have.
That sounds
Long
like it's a
story. You'll have to
scam.
tell us that sometime.
I was the one being scammed.
Yeah. All right, another one here is it is illegal to feed alligators. The law basically says that it's illegal to feed wild alligators or crocodiles in the state of Florida. This statute is part of the Wildlife Conservation Act of Florida and was put on the books to make it more criminally punishable for people to try to hunt, trap, or kill alligators and crocs.
What's the punishment? Did they say?
Nope.
Oh,
Nothing. Just
thought
it's
maybe
illegal.
it was the same as wrestling bears.
Yep.
That's a great one. I mean, that's
You try to get that in all the
I
time.
do,
You
yeah.
almost have done it.
Yeah. You also can't engage in dwarf tossing. In case you were wondering. According to Florida law, if you own a bar or pub and anyone on the premises engages in the sport of dwarf tossing, all persons involved are in a lot of trouble. Fines, arrests, and serious jail time are all on the table if you get caught participating in this nefarious activity anywhere in Florida. So dwarf
so it's
tossing.
legal other places though.
Don't know.
So the thing is to have a law, typically it has to have been something that's been done several times.
Right.
So dwarf
Enough to make
tossing-
it a problem.
Yep. This is a problem. We have too many dwarfs being thrown.
tossed.
Now this is going to
It's
become a law.
It's so
here,
prevalent that they had to give it a name.
which is the
Dwarf tossing.
dwarf tossing law. Is it just like a
It's a
is it a
public
misdemeanor?
bar
Is it a
attraction, I
misdemeanor
guess.
or a
That's-
felony?
Public bar attraction. They said they shut that down. They said no more of this.
Is it a misdemeanor?
I don't know. Joe's
Okay.
probably looking it up.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, you can get down a rabbit hole there of
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
Yep. That's not what we're about.
We'll move on from dwarf tossing.
Either say it right or leave it alone, and we're just gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, we're just gonna do that.
Yeah, people can
Do their own.
yeah they can do their own
thing.
research
Do
if
your
they
own
want to go
research.
there.
This was California that we had one. I think I remember this. You must pay at a meter for not only your car but also your elephant. Florida law requires that any animals or moving vehicles that are parked in a metered parking area must be paid for. The statute specifically names animals like elephants and pigs. Not sure why.
Obviously,
There must
people,
be there must
There
there
used to
must have happened at some point. 'cause
That's
it's
what
like
the
why
point
would
about
you?
the dwarf thing is.
Right.
Because I
Maybe-
mean, it's not like elephants are
Native.
native to that.
They're
To
not.
that
you know what I'm
area.
guessing
So it's like
is somebody was trying to be smart, and they were having to pay so much money for their car. They thought, I can park my
So they bought an
elephant.
elephant.
I can park my elephant here and not pay the meter because it's not a car, or I can ride my pig in, don't have to pay for it.
And that would be a problem when you think about it. I
That
mean,
would be an
you
issue.
just think about a lot of different problems that could come from that.
Yeah.
What if it's an unruly elephant and
Yeah.
it starts
So-
banging
Well,
into
and you know
if
what
Tim
happens.
Hewitt rode his
Frankenbeans.
Yeah.
pig into Florida, he'd have to pay. He'd have to meter it.
Tim Hewitt, your baseball
Yeah, coach.
coach
player.
and player coach.
That was,
from the Mazo Mustangs.
Mitch would always talk about, do you ride Frankenbeans or ride your pig? Or
Tim, you ride your pig to,
Yeah.
to work
I
today.
always say that stuff. So dumb. Okay. Public building doors are required by code to open outward. The law specifically states that this is because of the frequent extreme weather conditions the state often has to deal with. Makes sense. So if it blows, because it'll just blow right
blow
open.
right
You're
through
trying
it.
to get
Yeah.
some protection from the.
That's smart. Those people.
Yep.
So
Smart people.
if you're in Florida, don't be close to the doors. If you're coming
If you're
in,
standing out, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
'Cause you can get a face full of door there.
Yeah. There you have it.
Good point.
Little PSA though.
Yeah, a little public service announcement right
very
there
nice
from
of you.
Chopper.
You cannot tell people your souvenirs are from Florida or fresh from Florida. The statute 571-29 makes it a criminal act to claim your souvenirs are from Florida or fresh from Florida, which I said before.
What if they are from Florida?
You are only allowed to do so if you are registered with the Florida Department of Agriculture. So my guess would be it's a money thing.
Yeah.
They want to be able to have souvenirs, shops, and trinkets that are able to say that they're from Florida, fresh from Florida. If you were to sell them and you were to say, hey, these are
fresh from Florida.
You gotta be
Okay, so
registered.
it's more of a you can't have it be
Just
a
can't
branding
any-
thing. It's
just
not like
can't be any layman just out there saying, hey, these are from Florida.
right. But like if we come home and somebody said, "Where'd you get those shells?" Well, we got them from Florida.
long
We're
as
not
you're
going to
not
be
selling them.
They're fresh from
You're not
Florida.
selling them.
Okay. I was going to
Fresh out
say
of Florida.
if they're doing that, it's a selling thing.
Yeah.
But if they're not doing that, if they're just saying you can't say it even, then they're encouraging lying.
Oh, wow.
We
True.
got it to Florida.
We got it down south.
For Florida.
They're not fresh from Florida. That's what you have to say.
Yep.
Maybe you just
Well, I'm
said
glad
they were
you-
fresh within Florida.
Yeah, I'm just glad you explained that. That helps me think better about Florida because I thought that their
They
legislators
probably want to
were-
make sure that somebody is registered
Yeah,
with
that
them
makes sense.
and are selling them under, they're paying their dues to Florida before they're selling them from Florida.
Makes sense.
And this last one,
Go for it.
this is just really good.
Is it?
I held
Let's
it
hear
the best for last.
Okay,
In
great.
case you're planning on it, strictly no bear fights.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Florida Statute 828-122 makes it illegal to engage in bear fights.
That makes sense because I'm assuming it's like dog fighting. Two bears fighting each other. Where the other one was Alabama.
Yep.
You couldn't
Wrestle
a bear.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who in their right mind would wrestle a bear?
My guess would be that the statute probably brings in. Joe could probably we got plenty of time here. Look up Florida Statute 828-122, 828.122. I bet you there's something in there too that you can't wrestle either. I bet
Again,
you there's
what was
something
it?
in there. Huh?
828 something?
828.122. This is me good stuff here. You can probably read the
This is from Online Sunshine.
nice.
It's in the Sunshine State.
And we went through on one of our episodes, it might have been the Alabama one,
Yep.
that we went through. Remember, we went through each state.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody looked it up on their phone to see how many bear
Oh, yeah.
are in there. And Florida has bear.
You sure do.
I don't know how many. I don't remember.
I don't know either.
This is the
They haven't caught
act.
him recently.
What is it?
The act may be cited as the Animal Fighting Act.
Mm-hmm.
Animal fighting means fighting between roosters or other birds, or between dogs, bears, or other animals.
Makes sense. Is there such
Person
thing as elephant
means
fighting?
every natural person. Any person knowingly commits any of the following acts commits a felony of the third degree, punishable as provided in the other places.
All right.
So it's always related to human beings
Fighting other animals against each
I
other.
think it's like
Yes,
betting.
It's
yeah,
not,
it's
it's
like
not
betting.
that it's illegal for two bear that are out. That are just out in the things.
Hey, you two.
DNR guy
That's
says,
a-
"Hey, that's
hey,
enough of there.
third
One of
degree
you's
mystical.
going.
Come
One of
over
you's
here.
going to have to go to jail
We're
tonight."
taking you to the circus.
Yep. Or two roosters get at each other on the farm. That happens all the time. It's just a human being
The
involved.
farmer calls, hey, we've got
making
two
money,
roosters fighting
probably.
here.
Betting, different things like that, wagering.
Yep.
So I think we're figuring
thank you.
these things out.
Thanks
big
for that,
time.
Drew.
Yeah.
That has been Florida.
You can also get in trouble for any person simulating a fight.
Pretending to fight.
Just like never mind.
Well,
Probably because they've broken up these fights before, and they say when we're going to fight, we were simulating a fight.
It was a fake fight.
It was going to be a fake fight between these two.
See if you were on the ball there.
These animals are aware of what real wrestling is and what fake wrestling is, and
they were the version of WWE SmackDown. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Fake.
Well,
dog.
we don't want to get into, we don't want to get into that.
Viewers over that.
Yeah.
All right.
We might have ruined that for some viewers.
Yeah, maybe they don't know.
Like
Thank
they didn't
you.
know Santa.
No way that isn't real. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the 29th episode of the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast. Thank you all for helping out with it and doing what you do.
Yeah.
You're good at it, so keep doing it. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. It'll be 30.
Whoa.
29, 30. So that's
Should be
it.
fun.
Whew, you made it through that long one. Thanks for doing that. If you're interested in more content like that, check out maybe one of these. And maybe, I don't know, click on this. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want.